So there is going to potentially be a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build huge wealth, because now it could be one of the easiest times to increase your net worth dramatically if you know what you're doing. After all, there's a popular saying that says riches are made in recessions, and it doesn't take much to realize that we're already beginning to move towards that point. The fact is, recessions happen on a regular basis, and if used correctly, it's possible to set yourself up for the rest of your life through some incredible opportunities and discounts, with even Warren Buffett being quoted as saying, "Bad news is a best investor's best friend." So basically, when you hear the word recession, it might very well be your best friend. So let's talk about exactly what's expected to happen in the next 12 months or so, how it may be a once-in-a-decade opportunity, and precisely what you can do to make sure you're in the best position to make as much money as possible. So what is expected to happen in the next 12 months? Well, the Fed has been raising interest rates at the fastest pace in history of the Fed to slow the economy down to stave off inflation, as we all know. Which means as the economy slows down, GDP could go from 1 to 3% growth in a quarter into actual negative territory. And if you get 2 consecutive quarters of GDP going down, you have a technical recession right there. Now, of course, the Fed wants to have a mild recession, not a huge one. So this is actually a tough needle to thread, to say the least, because it's hard to get there. It's hard to have a soft recession or a technical recession and not have a major one. If they mess it up, it could throw us into a worse situation than we're currently in, and that's not good at all. Or maybe it is good for us. This is where switching your mindset to see times like recessions as not something to be feared, but something to be embraced and welcome is critical. So how can this recession be a once-in-a-decade opportunity? I can pull up a bunch of charts and graphs that show you over and over and over again, and a ton of data that shows you over and over again that the best time to be investing is during a recession, but I prefer to illustrate this with examples from my own life. My best investing years in terms of buys happened in recessions, just like the charts show and just like everything else I could show you shows. I lost a bunch of money in the wake of the dot-com bubble and the beginning of the following recession because I had the wrong strategy and bought the hype instead of waiting for the actual fall and being excited about a recession. But towards the tail end of that recession that did follow, I made my first buys in Apple, where a small $3,000 investment is worth over $1 million today. That is life-changing money that only happens in a recession. I also bought real estate in the recession that accompanied the financial crisis in 2008, 2009, 2010 or so. Look at property values back then and then look at them today. That is a massive life-changing amount of wealth gained right there just by buying property during that recession. I mean, I remember routinely picking up houses for 25 to 50 cents on the dollar all the time. I mean, there was actually more than I could buy, and I made a ton of money on all those properties and still do to this day on some of them. Same went for stocks during that recession. I mean, just deals were everywhere. But don't ask me about my GE buy. That was terrible. But every other stock I bought is worth hundreds, if not thousands of percent more today than I paid for them back then. And more recently, we had kind of the quick illness shutdown, quick recession. I don't know what else to call it, but just that little brief recession that we had right there, where some steal deals could absolutely be had on great stocks. And we had last year's technical recession, which actually coincided with the bottom for many stocks last year. And those stocks have just soared so far this year. All of those were massive life-changing opportunities, especially as you get further away from the recession itself. The opportunities that you were able to take advantage of during that recession just get more and more lucrative. So what can you do to make sure you're in the best position to make as much money as possible? Well, first, make sure you have your finances in order and are saving as much as you can from each paycheck. I mean, really try to scale back on every expense that you have to kind of maximize your savings coming in if this recession happens. Plus, your cash is earning 45% right now, so there is no reason not to be saving money right now because it's paying you an awful lot to just save and hold cash. Start that side hustle or take extra hours on right now at work. Don't wait for the recession to hit to try and do those things, especially with your job. So if the recession hits your company hard, they may not offer those overtime hours that they're offering right now, so make sure you take advantage. And as far as the side hustle goes, many of the greatest businesses out there were born in a recession, so in some ways, it's actually the best time to start that side hustle, start that side business. If your business makes it through it to the other side, it has the strength to really explode as we come out of a recession. And finally, you need to invest that money as fear takes over if we get a recession. Look, if you really want to take advantage of the market during bad times, then first realizing that when the fear is the greatest is usually the best time to buy is something you have to understand and take and internalize for yourself. But I got it. Many of you guys don't have time to study individual investments or don't have the money to buy a course or join a group like my group for stock investing to learn how to really take advantage of times like a recession. That's okay. If you can't do that, don't worry about it. You can still make a lot of money because simple dollar cost averaging into the stock market is one of the most unbeatable strategies to building long-term wealth. I mean, nothing fancy at all, guys. Just set it up to put that money into a simple index fund each time you get paid and forget about it. Over the long run, the buys you make during a recession will most likely give you the best returns you ever have in the market. So for those that are patient, stick to the plan and grind through this recession instead of being fearful, we'll come out so much further than everyone else and put you in a spot to really jumpstart your wealth. And for more money saving tips to stack up that cash to buy the opportunities that a recession brings, click this video right here. I agree, our system is broken, and this channel is about showing you the real truth behind finance, retirement, and entrepreneurship, so make sure you subscribe whether you're 25 or 65. This will apply to you. So thanks for taking the time to watch my video, and I'll see you in the next one.